Was good chat. We got about 2 more minutes, and from there, I'll definitely will get started with tonight's session. I'll definitely will let everyone else hop on, and as of now, I'll definitely be just scanning the market and see what I see as of now. Um, a lot of things have been moving pretty nicely as far as crypto. So, yeah, the next 2 more minutes, I'll definitely will get started. But and as of now, I'm just scanning the market, seeing what's up, and see if we can catch any potential plays. Uh, but how are we doing tonight, chat? Let me know how you guys feeling. I know some of you guys are excited for this weekend's festivities. I know we do have the conference that's happening in Dallas, right? Saturday, bright and early. So it's gonna be a full day worth of learning. Definitely am excited to see you guys in person. There we go. Just making sure the live is still running. Definitely we'll get started in the next minute. Was good, Ibarra. Jojo, how are you doing, man? I see you with a nice little payouts, right? Don't definitely don't spit it all in one place. Definitely treat yourself. Treat yourself first. Of course, invest that portion into maybe like Chainlink. Definitely is one of the top cryptos that I'm personally looking at myself, and especially you guys have been seeing inside the chats. So definitely good to diversify. It was good, Carlos. I see inside the chats. Um, but yeah, that definitely is a blessing. Seeing that you got a pretty nice payout. So definitely shout out to you. So, as far as news wise, okay, cool. It says it is 10 p.m. Let me see real quick before I got started. Let me send out a couple more messages. Let me. There we go. Just sent out a couple more messages, and we are live. Let me see the chat real quick. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So as far as news wise, let me check what the fear and greed index is saying at the moment. So we're currently sitting at 9 at extreme fear in the market. Definitely one of the worst days, especially being compared to days whether it's from like COVID candles, like really even look at the entire bigger picture. Like we had some pretty aggressive setting candles, right? Even like setting this entire sell off candles compared to like the other ones. Like how much was this from the high to the low before we actually rebounded? So that was like a good 36% drop. And how much was this current one? 38. So it was a bit more. Where else can we go? There's definitely been talks as far as where BTC can go. We'll probably can come back into some of the areas in here. I mean, it looks like we haven't really fully came down into this area. Cool. So 57. Definitely do see this area here. Um yeah, I mean like I know we've had some previous zones, like yo, Tony, what happened to these zones? This is I'm more than happy to look back into like old zones, different areas, what happened, why did the biases didn't really of course fall through. So when it comes to these kind of aggressive selling pressure with BTC, a lot of the technicals that we typically know kind of just get throughout the wind gets thrown out the window for the most part, especially when it comes to like huge volume getting pushed into the markets. It somewhat gets thrown out the window, not entirely, but as far as yes, they were quality zones as far as where it could fall into, but doesn't mean that it needs to reject other areas. Everything will need to align in order for it to really, accumulate out of these areas little by little. Like back in 2020 during COVID, who here definitely type of one inside the chat if you guys were somewhat paying attention to the markets whenever BTC had hit below 4K. I think it had like what 3K, little below 3K. Who here like was really look at the market, even though you guys didn't really know what crypto was or what or what it was at that period of time, but you guys seen like the prices here because whenever I first got started, well, when I was still when I knew about crypto, when I knew about Bitcoin and Ethereum, XRP, I was kind of like still brand new into the whole space, and ever since then, I always knew that this was important. I just had a gut feeling that was important, that would be important in the future, just because I understood the overall concept of how this brand new tech was going to innovate, basically everything as far as the whole finance sector. And since this is a growing asset class, a unique asset class compared to like gold, oil, other commodities, so I understood the overall value behind this, and we're kind of really seeing the overall similar move to the downside that we've seen during COVID. And yeah, like this didn't really quite stick around in this area for long. Yes, we kind of like bouncing outside here, but I definitely don't expect these areas to be maybe even a week. Maybe I know this and now like maybe even a day that we'll probably see these low prices. But give or take, depending on how everything just bounces, the volume, because I'm pretty sure there's orders. I definitely want to look at order books and see where we at. I think these were the order books that I used to look at. I think it was called Bifinex. Bifinex order books. I believe this was actually one of the heat maps. It was that one. Yes, I think it was one of those, or like there was a heat map. I definitely need to look back and see what one did I use back in the day. Let me see order books, but for the most part, I think this is kind of like compared to like other brokers, but this is not really like a particular chart I want to look at. See here, I definitely will have some more insight on that next session. But as far as areas where what we could see Bitcoin fall back into, is even go below 60K, and probably even just trend inside here. That's kind of like one of the zones that I'm looking at. I know I do have other zones maybe down here. This is kind of like is worst case scenarios that we do trade in back into 46, 47. That is definitely on the table. I'm kind of just been looking back at old setups. So when the market crashing, is it actually wiping people's accounts or how that works? So when the market's crashing, is basically just taking out all people that are leverage trading. So really imagine people are leverage trading their portfolios. Think about that. Whether they're trading on like a 1x, 2x, and they all have like liquidations. They all have liquidations in their positions, not really typically towards investing, but they all have like some kind of liquidation price, of which if price were to hit that price for them, then that entire position would get liquidated. So all the leverage traders are getting liquidated as BTC is just making its way lower. Because we're thinking about like people that were entering buys in here, up here, and especially I'm pretty sure they got liquidated back down here, or if not, they're very very close. So that's kind of what the overall gist when it comes to when the market is crashing. Yeah, it definitely is wiping people's accounts as far as leverage traders for their portfolios and also other leverage traders when it comes to like CFDs, other markets, brokers, etc. Like it all comes into place. And I did see like exchanges um, withdrawing. I know Coinbase was one of them. I know Binance was one of them. I did see talks as far as like online that those two they did of course liquidate or they sold um some of their portfolios. I think it was in BTC. I know the Ethereum Foundation has been selling wrapped Ethereum, I believe. And so like all the different other places have been like selling um basically during these kind of events during these conditions. So it definitely does play a big factor. There's been like a whole um, story, or like just more so like the narrative that since Michael Slater was one of the biggest Bitcoin buyers, they're Jim Cramer want to see his position get liquidated or see him be in fear of liquidation, which you definitely could see that on his tweets with Jim Cramer. And as far as everything else in general, like exchanges definitely do play a big role. But as far as all the stats that come with it, you can definitely, of course, see that for sure on the actual heat maps when it comes to liquidity wise. I think it will be. I think it was in DeFi Llama that you can find heat maps, I believe. But there was a specific chart that you can see heat maps of liquidity that are I don't think it's on here. It's more for DeFi crypto. I'm trying to figure out which platform that I seen it at. It's been a while. A heat map. There we go. Let's see what pops up. Is CoinGecko? No. I think I might have seen it in CoinMarketCap. Coin Glass, Coin 360. I think I've seen it in one of these. I think it's Coin Glass. And you get because see. Here we go. I think this is where I found it at. Let's see if it loads up. Let's see the question. Solana at 10. If Solana's at 10, that is definitely a huge drop from last time. From well, actually where current price where it was like around 200 Solana per Solana. That would be absolutely crazy. So let's say we were to go into this took the past 24 hours. Let's look at the past month. Let's see if this would give us more of a bigger picture. But this kind of gives you guys more of a better liquidation prices where a lot of the orders are being stacked on these heat maps. So you if you could use it as far as building information towards your bias. You can see how there's been a lot of orders in here, right? There was a lot of orders, leverage, liquidation leverage at almost 200 million, 200 million. So you can see how it just thins out as we start going lower and lower. And let me see if February, January, all the up to like beginning of this year. But if you want to see more, but yeah, I hope you guys gonna get the gist of everything, events, liquidation history, heat maps. You can see all different futures. You get the order books, perpetual, right? This I, mean, I don't really use this, but you can see majority of the liquidity heat maps kind of just falls in like the main three. Bitcoin, ETH, Solana. Those always been like the main ones as far as liquidity. You can see was this, yeah, there we go. Perpetual BIMX. So this is kind of more like informational biases towards, where you guys are looking at different, TPs and etc. So market exchanges, hmm, interest funding rates, heat maps, levels, data. Where are we at? I haven't really used this much at all, to be honest. Like I've definitely used CoinGlass in previous stuff, but it's been an absolutely while since I've used this kind of charting. So, uh, I mean that's pretty much it for the most part for like we could look at. But yeah, let's see here. Let's see what's happening with news crash. I mean, so you guys been seeing that a lot of the news that's about BTC. Um, Everything's for the most part. And I did see that Gemini do close their operations recently. Did you guys get an email? I think that Gemini was closing operations. I think it was Gemini is closing in your area or something along the lines of that. But yeah, Gemini is another exchange that basically another crypto exchange, smaller crypto exchange that really is plays another factor as far as big dips in the market. Like because I know in previous times, whenever an exchange do go down like that, or they just kind of go bankrupt, or they just completely just collapse, then you definitely will see the biggest drops typically when that happens, especially when it comes to a bank. Whenever a bank fails, then yeah, you definitely will see a huge liquidation candle. So these are all different factors that could happen when it comes to these big drops. Gemini is exiting the European Union, the UK, and Australia. Usually will have 2 months to withdraw or transfer their funds before accounts are closed. So that's why it is really, really important that you don't um, have your funds in these exchanges because once they completely, of course, stop operating in your region, they'll close your accounts automatically, and if and from there they'll definitely, of course, close the accounts, and you lose your funds. Can you get it back? Most likely you won't. There's a pretty high chance that you won't, and even trying to retrieve it, they'll probably give you like, oh, we'll let you know that they were in close it. How come you didn't withdraw it? Well, it's part because you might have forgot or you never really looked at it. Just kind of let it be. So that's why I always put it away inside of decentralized either wallets or ledgers in that particular category. So definitely make sure you guys are always when you guys are buying, take it off exchanges. So here, yeah, I mean, this is kind of one of the reasons why we always emphasize decentralization. I'm going to take that out. What else? JP Morgan. Bitcoin could be more attractive than gold ever over time, says JP Morgan. So it's kind of funny seeing that because there was articles that JP Morgan hated Bitcoin or disliked it, was totally against it, and now they can see the value over it than gold. So there's definitely been quite a few articles like this, but in the past, JP Morgan was just definitely against it. Let's see here. Urges crypto industry to refocus on finance. That's interesting. I did not know that. Yeah, cool. So next thing I want to look at is Ethereum. Any questions you guys have, definitely let me know inside the chats. Ethereum is sitting at 1907, which is still at a complete discount. If we do continue on dropping, then definitely want to see what we're doing inside here. But there's still some liquidity here that needs to get swept right at these levels around 1372. Yeah, right at these levels. That's right now, like that's for like leverage. I'm only taking continuations to the downside. I know I had a couple of entries that didn't really quite give it to me as far as coming to those areas, which is something that was expected. This kind of is what would happen if there's too much, selling pressure and market decides to not even come back to your area at all. I would just leave it because this is actually one of the ideas that I did send out um, inside the chat, and it didn't really quite come back at all. It close. It was very, very, very close. We had missed it by 44 pips. Yeah, we had missed about 40, about 44, 45 pips um, into the entry, and this thing dropped for. Even though I did it for 103, was for like a 930 pip TP. This thing dropped for 33,600 ish in that area. So yeah, that definitely was a very, very big drop. So that's why when it comes to these kind of conditions, continuations, whether it's up or down, these are the ones that are really, really do pay a lot. Like it's been quite a while since we've seen like thousands of pin moves in a single day, which is good. I actually do like that. I love volatility in crypto, especially during these where you can catch thousands of pips in a single day, and that is which is amazing. Whether you guys are trading on safe days or futures, I know with futures you're kind of limited on holding the trade, or whether you guys are trading on perpetuals, which is my personal favorite. You're able to trade it for you know for however long you want, right? There's no time limit. Um, I know when it comes to perpetuals, it's a bit more differently. I personally love. I don't know why I put perpetuals. So it's Jupiter, my favorite site. You can definitely see that on here. There's always, my favorite main three. I know they've been adding a bit more stuff. They added another financing option, which is inside the app. Let's see, rewards. What is this? So staking, trade and earn. Season 1 to 2. Interesting. Trade and refer earn more than okay, cool. None of that. I know there was this. So that's the active staking ASR, which was the last one for that one. And then there will be one more. I got it mixed up from the two, but there will be one more ASR rewards campaign period from the 30th to 26th to April 30th. So that's the whole entire time frame. And there was a snapshot of it. Increased power claim via mobile, reward pool. Yeah, so there will be the snapshot was already made on January 30th for the next one because there's ASR and there's one for what was the other one? There was there's another name for it, but it kind of just rewards you for participating in all the products. So pretty nice. Let's see here. Swaps, referrals. I haven't really seen this to be honest. Part because I've been mainly on the app overall. But yeah, as far as perpetuals, That is absolutely crazy. You know, I have some sales at ETH. Was it ETH or BTC, which I should have held. Like it was somewhere around here, I think, around 85. I have some sales. I wish I held. That would have been a nice hold for sure. But yeah, as far as like that question, when it comes to market crashing, a lot of people, do trade on their portfolios on leverage, whether they have it at, let's say, you want to do this. Let's say you have $100, right? And you do your leverage at here 1x, or let's say 2x. So you see how it gives you your entry right here, bottom right corner, and it gives you your liquidation price. So your portfolio or your entry or your position size will get liquidated at this price at whenever Bitcoin hits 32,530. So that's what it means when it comes to people getting liquidated. Because when the markets are crashing. So hopefully that answers your question a bit more. And also, of course, factor when it comes to like futures, and other styles of trading when it comes to cryptos. So pretty cool stuff to know. And here leaderboards. But yeah, as far as any of the setups, I'm just kind of waiting to see what we're doing here for Ethereum. Since tomorrow it is Friday tomorrow, I'm kind of curious how we close out the daily and see if we get any kind of like pullbacks and probably even catch some more continuation to the downside because we still got all this here that we need to sweep. So we're not in the clear just yet. So that's something that you can consider and maybe try to even catch a potential play. But we'll see on Saturday, Monday, around that. Saturday going to Monday, as far as any institutional moves that will allow us to know what was the true intention with any pair that we're looking at, whether it's Solana, ETH, BTC. I always look at the markets from Sunday, the new weekly candle, till Monday. That's kind of really where you will see some kind of movement that it would typically over the weekends. It will create liquidity. Once Sunday, Monday comes around, it will shoot that liquidity, and from there, you will definitely see the overall attention with the market. And it plays out about 90% of the time. Let me see here. As far as the lower time frames, I still see it making its way lower. To here, 5 minutes, 30, 1 hour. See this. And I see this area here. That's for Solana. 5. Yeah, I mean, I have this area here. But we'll see with the overall pullback with Solana. Total one. So total one. Let me see. Where can I send charts? You can send it. You know what? You can definitely send it inside the YouTube chat. That's a good question. You either send inside the YouTube chat or inside of the actual Powerhouse chat. And other people will look at both. Whichever one is better for you. So with total one, look at the over a monthly. So when I'm looking at this, I'm always asking myself the question is what other areas can we look at that it will be a potential for it to reach into those zones? I mean, there's not really much here to the left that really just signals us that this is it. This is where we'll kind of see some kind of accumulation to the downside or accumulation to the upside for cryptos overall, or we just leave some kind of major wick and it just takes off. Because in my personal opinion, I don't really see much over here. Okay, I just seen your markup. Let me see. So okay, you have a Bitcoin chart. You're looking at the 4 hour time frame, and you're looking at entries at. Okay, so this entire where are we at? Somewhere around here. You're kind of looking at these areas, kind of looking for somewhere in there. But to be more specific, I think are you looking at this kind of specifically? Because this was actually one of my selling zones. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Yeah, this actually was one of my selling zones that I had before I sold off. So I definitely do agree with you on this one. Like same zone, same everything. But fortunately, it left behind. Can it come back to the area and be a possible entry, or it could be a possible TP, depending on how we move and play around in these current prices around 64. This can definitely be an area of interest that you can, of course, save in the future of that 30 minutes. I also had areas, so another candle. That's why I'm always looking on higher time frames because trust me, you can see more of a clearer picture. Usually, the ones in smaller time frames don't really hold that much weight, which it will just absolutely just gonna go blow past your entries and just invalidate it. But for the most part, that's why higher time frame zones are more probable. I remember I had this zone here marked up before I sold off. We have all these different, of course, different kind of entries. But as of now, I'm just kind of just waiting, sit my hands and see what we do next with BTC. So there's 1 minute. So the reason why I do see this going lower is because of these lows here. This liquidity here, that is kind of my indication that we're going to go lower. If you guys are ever wondering, like I've mentioned in previous calls, whether or not trade is going to hold, just look at the 1 minute time frame. Look for lows like this. Look for liquidity building up. And trust me, the same analysis you guys see on higher time frames is the exact same on the 1 minute. You go back into the chat. Got you. I'm seeing everything that's being popped up into the chat. Got you. Cool. So, let me see. Yeah, I mean, for BTC, there's definitely a chance that we'll probably see it, come below to like 57. Can I do it over the weekend? Maybe. Can I do it tomorrow? I don't see why not. But will it? Most likely, probably even slow down tomorrow because that was a lot of money that was taken out all at once. So the market kind of has to recuperate and of course somewhat gain that back, or we just continue selling off. It's kind of one of those two. Like it's kind of think of it as like the market kind of needs a breather before it continues on. So maybe there's a chance we probably see that tomorrow. And as far as stacking up your fair assets, yeah, I mean, we definitely can see Chainlink finally went below $8. See, it finally came below $8. Remember in previous calls where like I told you guys, all we needed is wait for Chainlink to sweep the lows, liquidity. Next, it swept it, and we're looking at weekly. As far as if we're to get any kind of aggressive sells, we'll probably even see Chainlink even hit $6 below $7. Absolutely aggressive. Probably come back and just hit yeah, probably below $6. That is kind of just more aggressive. But anything else that is beyond me, $3. I mean, we have that is absolutely fear. What do you guys think? That would be absolutely gnarly if we were to even see these kind of $3. Chainlink has never hit $3. Well, it has, but the last time it did was April 6th, 2020. When was that? COVID year. And that was the second time. The first time was the ninth on 2020. COVID years, man. So I'll leave that in there. And then as far as target wise, definitely seeing these highs get taken out, these highs get taken out. Even from these current prices, that's still almost a four, no, almost a 3x, almost a 3x. Let's say from a little below $8, a 3x. Sheesh. And anything more than that, probably give it a good. Probably see this potentially if everything kind of just goes according to plan. Like 125, 120, 125 in that area. That's my TP. But that would have to happen with the right money, the right scenario, the right events. Everything we need to just align for it to just make those kind of moves. But this is just pure speculation. It is not um financial advice, is what I put out there, but it is so it's something curious that I'm looking for to see if we actually come to those areas. Mo- I know there's been some tokens that have actually taken out the liquidity on October 10th, I believe. AVAX had done it already successfully. Yeah, it's taking it out, and it's sitting at about $8. Um, the highs. Channing has a very, very good risk reward. Yeah, AVAX has a very, very nice risk reward from current price to these highs here. A 6x. Hmm, interesting. So, and then one of the zones I have, $84. Sheesh. That's almost a 10x. Yeah, I'm actually getting really, really excited as far as what could happen. Honestly, AVAX is a very, very good move. Very good. Yeah, I definitely was in this inside the chat because AVAX and Chainlink are very hand in hand when it comes to utilities worst and use case because the AVAX plays a big role when it comes to real world assets. And I know that JP Morgan, a lot of things are being built on AVAX. I think there was a platform that Mike Sotero had mentioned, but I also forgot what it was. I think it was I had a weird name, but I'll definitely will remember it next call. But yeah, yeah, these are very, very interesting opportunities. 3 hour, 2 hour. So this kind of is really what I do each time when I'm finding out setups. I do top down analysis on everything. 45, 5 minutes. Yeah. Now I'll definitely let see it go lower. What do you see for Filecoin? With Filecoin, I just needed for it to just show some kind of strength before even give you guys like where it can go. Um I mean the data kind of shows by itself where it was and what it could potentially even go to in the near future. But as of now, as for like lower time frames, it just needs to show some kind of strength in the market. Yeah, it definitely just needs to see some kind of strength in the market for me to really give you guys um more of a better picture. Yeah. I mean, I still hold it. I still hold the project itself. Um, I'm not really looking into getting more just yet, unless I see some kind of strength with Filecoin. I'm not gonna really try to like guess the bottom because as of now, like you can't really. There's it just been doing the good old dippity dip, but like that's kind of one of like the biggest things that I've learned was just finding stacking on the ones with the most strength. That's kind of one of like the right idea when it comes to investing that I've really applied majority this past year is focusing on the ones with the strength and just stacking up on those rather than ones that are lagging or that are currently weak at the moment. So always stack your winners, the one that's showing strength. But for most parts, I'm still holding it. So yeah. When it comes to ICP, I personally haven't really seen anything else. I know that Dominic, the one of the founders, has been still been talking on social media, still pushing it out there as much as possible. He's definitely been I guess, lean towards more so pushing the project out. Let's see here daily. But yeah, as far as ICP, I definitely want to see some kind of strength with this before even like buying some more. Yeah, that's something that I'm kind of just leaning more towards is seeing some kind of strength inside Filecoin ICP before I mean getting some more and just adding to the portfolio. Litecoin did like I know when it comes to Litecoin, it's really been there's so much liquidity with Litecoin, so much liquidity. We still have all this here, which is kind of interesting to even like see these kind of moves that could happen. Taking this out of the way. Yeah, this is something that is I'll definitely be looking on the back on the putting on the back end as far as seeing if if I can find any kind of opportunities when it comes to perpetuals. But other than that, how long do you see chilling? How low do you see chilling going? I believe you just joined. So as far as like scenarios, it really just depends on like how aggressive VTC want to just take everybody out. Have zones at current zones right now. I was zoned probably like lower around $6, $5, and the next one like right at three. But other than that, anything else, I just don't see it. So it just kind of depends on what happens with BTC at this current point in time. Litecoin, USDT. So what I've noticed is that the dominance for BTC started to tank. What does that mean? Meaning that the dominance for BTC decreased, so it's just a matter of time before Ethereum starts to gain that. But Ethereum and Bitcoin chart. So once we really see this entire move here with ETH slash BTC, then yeah, you definitely will see some money flowing into the main layer ones that falls in that category with Ethereum. Layer ones, you probably see some layer twos, see some growth, but it's just been very interesting to see that the main founders of Ethereum basically just told everybody, Vitalik, that's kind of who I'm talking about, that it was didn't really see it part of their plan or picture, or didn't doesn't really see it um as far as what they had anticipated with it, and that it was taking too much. It was taking too much time. So they kind of just been I don't know. You definitely can see back to the post of Vitalik talking about it. See UDT, XRP. So XRP actually went below that we were anticipating. Can we see potential buys here at XRP below $1? Maybe. Has XRP fulfilled its purpose? That is the question. Has XRP made this move and there won't be any other move anymore? Or we complete out here and potentially even, reach another high. That's kind of one of the things when it comes to like the personality with XRP. It you definitely will know that it will start dying out. It always dies out after big pumps. This one, this one, you start seeing just lagging behind, and it just stays in these areas ranging for years. So, chain link, yeah, same scenario. Cool. Looks like Jupiter, Filecoin, Pyth. So Pyth actually ran the lows that I was wanting. So yeah, same thing with the rest. Just, I want to see some kind of strength show up with Pyth before even catching any kind of reentries. Because I don't want to like just buy right here and like it just continue on dipping lower. I'd rather just wait for an opportunity like this and buying somewhere in here. So that's my plan with the rest of the coins that we see. What time frame do you want Bitcoin to turn around to confirm bullish? What time frame? Let me go back to BTC real quick. I would also want to see you definitely will see more of a better picture on the daily rather than on the weekly. But yeah, I definitely will keep both into consideration as far as if we do continue going bullish. But I definitely would want to see it come back down to like 57. I do have an alert um for that area. Um I'm kind of curious if Bitcoin will kind of do one of those moves where it just happens while we're asleep. I mean, it's done in the past where these major moves will happen while we sleep around like 4 a.m., 3 a.m. and because the other part of the world, like China, like Europe, they're over there, trading BTC. So it kind of just depends. It just depends on what is happening. I know Binance is over there, so maybe they'll probably even do another quote unquote manipulation just to cause everything just to tank even lower. That's definitely something that what they're known for, and I think they did address it on their Twitter accounts. So pretty funny to see. But other than that is basically it on my end for tonight. That'll be it. My previous co-host, right? Um, can't be on tonight, so that was just gonna be me for today. But I know we do have the conference that is gonna be happening Saturday. So who here is coming out to the Saturday's conference in Dallas? Definitely drop inside the chat if you guys are playing up tonight's herd. Definitely we'll be looking forward to see you guys in person. Can't wait to really see your guys breakthroughs, and there's gonna be a lot of announcements, special announcements, and yeah, I mean like you guys are gonna be the overall pioneers inside of the platform. So really think about that, and yeah, I definitely will hope to see you guys in person. So I shake you guys' hand, and yeah, can't wait to see you guys here in Dallas. But other than that, hope you guys have a blessed and wonderful night, and I'll see you guys next time. Let's get it.